Hello everyone, my name is Grant and all my Chinese friends call me Teacher Wang because I'm teaching Chinese philosophy in New Zealand. One day in 2020, I had the privilege to interview the late Sinologist and the theologian Peter Lan's daughter, Mrs.Mara Harris. Peter Lan was 93 when he died, and his story touched me deeply. He let me know how a living Laozi student should behave. Because of this interview, I decided to change my life. Now, I live in a farm and I'm trying to live as simple as possible. Here I want to say, whatever your religion or belief is, I sincerely hope that you can benefit from this interview.
Can you introduce Peter Lan himself again?
Okay.
Yeah, from beginning.
Okay.
I think.
From the beginning of his birth?
Yeah, from the beginning of birth, especially how the reason why he started to learn Chinese.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Hi. My name's Mara. I'm the daughter of Peter Land. Now Peter has had a lifelong love for Chinese literature, especially the Tao Te Ching, which he translated 12 times before he did his first print, and then 2 more times after that till the next print. Now, my father was born in Tonga of European parents, and that had been in the Pacific Islands, Fiji, Tonga, for a few generations, having gone from England to Canada across to the Pacific. And he was educated in New Zealand as a child at boarding school, and then went to university in Auckland and Christchurch. And he was studying philosophy and religion, and he was planning to train as an Anglican priest. In his process of training, he decided that if he was going to be a Christian, he wanted to be a Catholic Christian. So he took the training and became a Catholic person. And once he became Catholic, the Catholic philosophy is very open to the study of true religion in any philosophy, whether Buddhism, Tao, anything. And so he started to look at those other religions to try and get a broader picture of spirituality and God and the heavens. And he came to love the Chinese language and Laozi, and we heard about it our whole life. And
How old was he?
He would have been in about mid-20s when he first started
to learn Chinese.
And he was self-taught. So he bought books. He spoke to Chinese shopkeepers to practice his language. He once spoke with someone who said that speaking to him, a Chinese person, and they said speaking to him was the same as 2 English people speaking, and one of them speaking ancient English, like from Shakespeare. So a lot of my father's Chinese was formal Chinese, and probably not the Chinese that is spoken by the common person today when they're talking to each other. So his language, sometimes for someone who speaks modern Mandarin, they might not know what he's saying because he's speaking from the past. So he over the years, he is always just, every time he's going to town, he goes and looks in the second-hand bookshops, and anything Chinese, picks it up. Any road signs, any shop signs, anything Chinese, he is reading and practicing.
This shop is in New Zealand?
In New Zealand and Fiji.
Okay.
Fiji. Yeah, he only lived in Auckland when he was at university. Otherwise, he was living in Cambridge as a child, and then Christchurch at university as well. When he married my mother, they went back, that would have been 1957 maybe. He married my mother, and they went back to Fiji at that time.
That is already after war, no?
Yes, after the war now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were born in Fiji, our
我以为我拿是
generation.
我手机上说，哎，你可以
Most
录
of us. One was born when we came back to New Zealand in 1971. We came back to New Zealand, and so he was talking to the Chinese shopkeepers and any other Chinese people, and a shopkeeper is like a public person, so it's easy to talk to them.
Yeah.
You know, because they have a public role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
So he just spent his life pursuing the teaching of the Laozi and any associated books and things that,
It looks the Laozi fascinated him and he really enjoyed and benefited from his book.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, no, he did. He really did.
Oh, very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know why he decided on Chinese. I don't know why he decided on Laozi, but he had enough. I suppose he must have initially read some English interpretations of the teachings, and just must have spoken to his heart and his mind. He was very much an intellectual person, and so he just.
Do you have brothers?
I have 6 brothers
Do they speak?
and 2 sisters. No,
Yes.
none of
No,
us.
do they learn Chinese?
I know ni hao. I'm the only one.
Yeah, but and as you told us, because the older and totally you have 9 kids from your father, and the first kids to the last kids is between
21 years from the oldest child to the youngest child. 6 years in between the second to youngest and the youngest. So 8 of us, and then 6 years later, 1 more.
Okay. But this means, in my understanding, that it's a very happy marriage.
Very happy, and my mother was a very hard worker. My mother was the one that went out to work to get money, and my father would spend a lot of time with his books, studying, and sometimes he went out to work, but mostly he was the one that stayed at home so that he could be the one that was studying.
Okay.
Spent a lot of time.
Yeah.
And he understood Greek and Latin and also French. He had those languages as well, and English. Because with all of the philosophies that he studied, he wanted to understand them in the language they were written in, not in the English that they were translated into. So for him it was important to try to get to the root of the message in the language that it was written in. So he has written himself many things. We have big boxes of all his writings that are preserved there, and one day we will open them up and try to go through and understand.
Does he have any students?
Not really. He was a teacher for a while, but not in,
Do you want to be in
the way you're asking the student of his, anyone who would listen.
Yeah.
Every now
You're talking
and then
about
there would be
him.
someone who would be more interested,
Yeah.
more interested, and then he would tell them more, and they would visit a few times, and he would tell them and teach them, but not a long-term student that knows.
What I'm teaching.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
did teach. We spent a lot of time living in the bush in Fiji,
Yeah.
and he was our teacher then.
Teach what?
Oh, everything.
Teach everything.
Everything, maths, English, writing, spelling, when we were small children.
Yeah.
As well as lifestyle, how to chop the firewood, how to how to go for a walk in the bush and avoid the poisonous snakes and the scorpions.
Okay.
How lots of very practical things. How to use a hammer and nail, how to speak correctly. Everything.
Life experience.
Absolutely, and a lot of the things in my life now, I thank my father for.
Yeah.
If I want to do something or I want to go to this to address these people. And that's that. Dad was very much a man who wanted to live a simple life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He lived like this from choice. This is how he wanted to live.
Yeah.
He wanted to live a simple life, and I remember him once saying to me, a man of wisdom. I think I'm not sure if it was the word of wisdom. Gains one new thing every day, but a man of Tao lets go one thing every day.
这叫为学日益，为道日损。
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And I've always remembered that. And when he first told me when I was a teenager, I was like, yeah, right, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, what's that mean?
Yeah.
But as I grow older,
Yeah.
I tell you, I so understand
A
that
lot of
more
things.
and more and more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if we don't let one thing go every day,
Yeah.
we will always be miserable.
And
The
actually,
good things to let go are the miseries
yeah.
and the bad habits and the things that we've picked up in our life from our challenges, and we pick up ways of being that are not helpful.
Yeah,
And to
absolutely.
let one go every day
Yeah.
Yeah.
is a hard job.
Yeah.
If I can let one go every month, I'm happy.
And also, have a position. Sometimes you become possession of your possession.
Pardon, Sophia?
Have a possessions. Sometimes you become possession of your possessions.
Yes.
You be controlled by what
Yes.
you own, not
That's
you
right.
control what you own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. That's right. So it's so. I mean, in a lot of situations, I learned so much from my father, and sadly, he died. I don't think I tried to tell him. Oh, they're out in the rain.
Yeah.
I'm interested in, can he do some fortune telling?
No, he looked into that,
Yeah.
and I think this is where he had some conflict within himself from his Catholic
Yeah.
teacher. And so within the Catholic teaching, we wait to be shown, and there was always some teaching against trying to do the fortune telling. And I think there was a time, and he has got the coins. He's got the coins.
I got a coin.
Yeah, he has the coins. And I remember for a short time he did have them. He's still got some, and he had the coins, and he did use them for a while. But I think that from what I gathered from him was there was too much of a conflict of teachings from we don't do in the Catholic teaching we don't do fortune telling, and I think so. I don't know why he never carried on with it, but I can only guess that there must have been too much conflict within himself from the different philosophies that he was
understand.
following, and he must have decided to leave that side.
我觉得都挺好。
more intellectual.
Yeah. You never see him use a coin to do the fortune telling.
I have seen him do it, yes.
For which?
Well, for
what?
me, he was, but he didn't do it. He explained it to me and showed me and had the
that's the way.
coins,
Okay.
and this is how, and this is what is done. But I never knew anyone that he actually did it for.
Okay.
But he learnt about it.
Okay.
He understood how it was performed and what the process was and how to do it and looking up and.
Yeah.
But to actually do it,
No.
that's no.
Okay.
So-
Understand.
Yeah. I'm not sure why. I can only think that it maybe.
Yeah.
it was-
Maybe you are
天机
right.
不可泄露。
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
you are right. Okay. Because the conflict between cultures, because religions.
Yeah. But yeah, he explained it all to me I remember one day.
Yeah.
Explaining this is how, and he's still got the coins somewhere.
Yeah.
They'll be in his things, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, thank you. Any questions?
Yeah.
Jerry, you got questions?
Not really.
Not really. Okay. Thank you.
You
for your
should
time.
ask how
society.
Oh yeah, that's like
Maybe for you interesting because now young people always feel a lot of pressure how to living. Yeah.
So like living around in like because when comparing from where I come from, I come from a much more modern city, I would say, like, and here's much more rural.
Yes.
Like so, like you said, there's no internet here, like.
There's no 240 volts.
Yeah.
There's no 240 volts here.
Oh, there's no 230 volts.
Even if there was, there still wouldn't be internet because there's no reception.
Yeah.
Because we're in a valley. So all of those things were deliberate. Now, when we came over here from Fiji, and we lived in the village or just outside the villages in Fiji, and Dad wanted to. He deliberately went there to have his children because he didn't want us contaminated by the philosophies of a consumerist society.
Yeah.
He wanted us to know about the depth of the knowing of the human with nature, without the consumerism and the desire for material goods. Is so strong in Western culture. And probably in Chinese culture now as well.
Not in our culture, but they perform like this.
Yes, that's right. Yes, good distinction. And he didn't want us. He wanted us to have a grounding in what the indigenous people living in their own country have. And so, being born in Fiji, we were able to be with people in their own culture, in their village, not in the towns, in the cities, in the village, with the soil, with the earth, and we were able to experience, and I have it today, it's a big treasure I have in my heart, is the connection to the earth, you know, and to what isn't physical, to the wairua, we call it here, Māori, the spirit, the essence of life, and the value of that, which is beyond physical possessions. When we came to New Zealand, I was 11 years old, and he wanted to also continue to protect us from consumerism and the ideologies of that the whole money go round, you know. And so we came here. He tried to find a place that was as close to Fiji living as possible in the village. So we ended up here. We were not here originally. We were out on the outskirts of Whangarei in a lifestyle block there for about 6 years. And then we found this place and we came here. And my father bought 400 acres of land up in the bush. This piece here is actually my brother's. This is the neighbouring property. So when it came available, he bought...
My dad.
Yep. His father. And so we bought this, he bought this block, and then they bought the block across the river, and then my other three brothers bought 1,000 acres up on the top above my father's place. Some of that's been sold back to the Department of Conservation, but so my father wanted and sought consciously to live a simplistic lifestyle, and my brother, who still lives in this valley, that's his father, and his 3 sons and their children all live here in this valley, and they all consciously live with electricity that's only 12 or 24 volts, so to keep that simplicity. And when you come up here in the summer or any time, you come up and you think, oh, nobody's home, because everyone is so integrated with the nature here that you can't hear them. There's no chainsaws. There's no radios except very quiet in the room. No blaring loud music. In the room, yes, in the room, but not. There's no sound of human beings except the laughter of children. You can hear that coming down the valley, you know.
I'm curious, what do they think about this lifestyle? What do the next generation, and do they love this?
They do. He had 6 children, and 3 of them live here. 4 of them, sorry. Gilbert lives here too. But his 2 daughters have moved out and married. One daughter's up the road. And they love it. The ones that have stayed, this is also in their heart.
Yeah.
And when we were young and teenagers and growing up, our vision for all of us, the 9 of us, was to live a lifestyle like this.
Yeah.
And I did for many years in another farm along the road, but I don't now. I live in town, and all of my brothers and sisters live a similar lifestyle. Most of them have got 240 volts and use tractors, but we have land and work the land and grow our gardens and go to work and So one of our other philosophies here was no benefit from the government.
No benefit from government.
No, everyone works. And when they first bought their land, they went to work 5 days a week and then bought freehold. And now they work maybe 1 day or 2 days out there to get money.
Out where to...
In society, fencing, building,
Nursing.
working, nursing, doing jobs to get money to buy flour because they can't grow flour.
Okay.
Yeah, things like that. Tea, flour, sugar.
Okay.
But they have a milking cow and they milk the cow so they get butter, cheese, milk, yogurt
You
from the
all
cow.
think that yourself. Okay.
Yeah. And the gardens are very, very big. Across the river, there's big gardens in the summer. They grow their crops. So they grow potatoes, kumaras, pumpkin, corn, maize for the porridge. So they very much live a sustainable lifestyle. And if they have to buy something, we have a co-op we buy from the organic. So they have to go to work 1 or 2 days a week. But there's no phone bill, no power bill, because the power comes from the sunshine.
How about the rates?
There's rates. They grow some cows. You sell the cows to pay for the rates.
Okay.
Yep.
Car,
And car, petrol, all those things. That's why they have to go to work 1 or 2 days a week.
Yeah.
So they go out when they have to go out, but they don't go out every day. Yeah, go to town maybe once a fortnight. You know.
So local car parking,
Yeah, lots of people live here.
Yeah. Guess how many people living here?
How many?
5,400 and something.
In this valley.
Oh, and no, I've...
You mean this town?
20-something.
Yeah, I think 20 something.
Right. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, you can count them with
7,
bare
8,
fingers.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
Wow, exactly. Oh, yeah.
So
Nice,
there's
cool.
four households.
She said four kids
Yeah.
of his father
Mm.
all live here, so makes his 3
Yeah.
whole
Yeah. So
family.
Gilbert hasn't got family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
So he lives with his parents. And then his 3 brothers and their wives. One house up there that they made from rammed earth. So he got the soil from around his house and some stones that he sifted and got different grades of stones from the river.
Oh, so they built their own house
Yeah.
using rocks.
And well, rammed earth it's called.
Yeah.
So they put up plywood here like this, and then they put the mix inside and ram it down, and then the plywood forms, and then on the roof is sod, what we call sod, like it's the earth, like cut a sod with the grass on it,
Oh, yeah.
put it on the roof. So every day my father would open this every year he had this thing, calendar, and every day he would open it, and this day is the last day he opened it in the morning before he went for his breakfast, and he died this day.
Oh.
So he never opened it again.
Oh.
And we've left the calendar also on where he last opened it. So every day he did that. He would come with his magnifying glass and he would read all of this, and he would tell us. But 4 years ago he had a stroke, and after that he couldn't understand numbers or English or anything, even Chinese. And then later, after 2 or 3 years, he started to understand a little bit of Chinese again, never English
Oh, really?
And numbers were hard, but he loved the Chinese language so much. And he would get every day, he would still have a look, and he'd look, and then sometimes he'd, oh, not today, I can't understand. And or he might get one character or one sound, but then not understand the rest, because after his stroke, it was lost a lot. It was lost. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's fine.
The meaning behind this.
Yes.
Actually, in China we call this Sikh character. It's very important because the Sikh each day has instruction from God.
Yes.
Yeah, if you can read this character, you can know the will from God.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Yes.